Hi, this is Dave Cohn with Emerald Trading Technologies, and we're going to provide a brief demonstration here of XTremeAutoTrader and its capabilities to do both options trading and inverted options trading. By options trading, I mean XTremeAutoTrader allows you to take any regular strategy, and instead of trading the underlying symbol, you can trade call and put options and place that underlying symbol. So when the strategy would go long, instead of buying the underlying symbol, it would purchase the call option for the underlying symbol. And when it goes short, it would purchase the put option for the underlying symbol. We'll also demonstrate the ability to invert this. That is, instead of buying call options when the underlying strategy goes long, it will buy put options. And when the underlying strategy goes short, it will instead buy call options. So we begin with the XTremeAutoTrader workspace opened up without XTremeAutoTrader yet started. We see a chart here, and we're going to go through the startup pretty quickly as this has been demonstrated in other short video clips. So we right-click on the chart, click on Format Analysis Techniques. We see that the XTremeAutoTrader 100 indicator has been highlighted and its status is off. We click Status to On and Close. That starts up XTremeAutoTrader, and the first thing that comes up will be a disclaimer form that I'm sliding into view here. You should read that carefully, then click on I agree to proceed. The XTremeAutoTrader console then starts up, and we see that it is clear with the white background, many columns here which we will not have time to describe at this point, but the key column, which is a symbol column, is prompting you to enter a symbol in every cell here. So we're going to enter the Citigroup symbol both in row 0 and row 1, and then we're going to click here when all the symbols are entered. That checks to make sure the symbols are valid and you can trade them. We'll also see the startup or the creation of what I call a helper chart. You do not want to delete this chart. It's important you leave it in place, but you can minimize it by clicking on the underscore icon here in the upper right corner. And we are now ready to start customizing the features for the trading symbols. So I'm going to first click here in the settings column. This should open up the default settings menu that I'll pull into view here. This allows us to set the settings for all the symbols at once. We're going to set the default bar type for all the symbols from minutes to 10 seconds. This is to speed up the trading action. We notice it's blinking. This is indicating that we have two rows with two identical symbols and everything else is identical so far, including what strategies you'll run in the symbol for the symbol. And you see that right here. This is the default strategy that comes with XTremeAutoTrader, and it's very useful for creating rapid changes in position. So we're going to select Finalize Default Settings at this point. Left click that. We've come back to the XTremeAutoTrader console, and we see now that the bar type has been set to 10 seconds for both Citigroup symbols, and the settings field has been set to customize, so we can customize how we trade each of those symbols. Notice the second Citigroup row has a red background for the 10-second bar interval, showing us that there is a conflict, or rather it is identical to the first Citigroup row. There must be some difference between symbol rows where the symbol is the same and the bar type is the same. The difference can be you use different trading strategies, or as we'll see in a minute, the difference can be that you use what are called different surrogate symbols. So we're going to click on this Customize field to bring up the settings form again. This is for specifically this Citigroup row here. You see the account, Citigroup. We see the blinking fields here indicating we're identical to the other row 1 Citigroup symbol. We're going to slide this form here to the left so we can see the trade surrogate symbol form. We can now select stock options, weekly, and it will instantly show and calculate the at-the-money options for the closest expiration date out. And we see those are shown here in green. You can select to be, instead of 0 strikes out or at the money, 1 strike away, and you see that the fields update to show you the put and call options available, or 2 strikes out, and so forth. We can also select so many expiration dates out, and you'll see the fields update. But what we want to do is use at the money options with the nearest expiration date. If you slide the form back over the left, we notice we don't see any blinking here, because we've differentiated this symbol, this Citigroup symbol, from the other one by setting the surrogate symbol to be weekly options. We'll click here to lock the settings for the symbol. The form disappears, and we're now going to customize the second Citigroup symbol. We're going to do the same thing with it. We're going to select stock options, weekly. Let's slide this into view fully here. But we're going to choose to invert the entries. As I explained, when the underlying goes long, instead of buying a call option, we will buy a put option. We slide the settings form over to the left again, we'll notice there's no blinking here. This indicates that there has been some difference established between the two Citigroup rows. We'll lock the settings for this symbol. Let's come back and look at the XTremeAutoTrader console. We see two new columns appear. One is surrogate symbol, which shows that we're trading the weekly options at the money, 0 expiration dates out. We also see invert entries column has appeared, showing us that for the first row, we're not inverting entries, but we are for the second one. We also see in the settings field that the first one shows us data loaded. This is loading data behind the scenes for the symbol. And the second column shows data loading. In the case of where we're dealing with the same symbol and bar type, you can consider that both those fields say data loaded. This is just a special case where you'll see data loading when you're using the same symbol on duplicate rows. Next thing we're going to do is create charts and insert the strategies on the charts. But before doing this, it's important that you understand we need to take TradeStation offline to do this. This will greatly increase the reliability of creating these charts, which are fairly involved. So we now come down the bottom of the platform, we see Trading Sim in blue, meaning we are connected live with the TradeStation simulated order server, and data in green, meaning we are connected live with the TradeStation data server. We need to take both those offline, so all I have to do is double left click on the Trading Sim, and we see both the trading and the data fields go red, indicating that we're no longer connected live. We'll also see, and I'll swing the form over here a bit in the view, that we, on the data connected column, see diag offline. That means diagnostic symbol offline. That is also telling us that we are going offline right now. And we'll come back. Now let's create the first chart here. I'll left click on that. We'll see the chart's going to be created. Hear the Ahuga sound alert 5 times here. This occurs when significant events are occurring, such as a chart being created, a strategy starting up or shutting down. We come back to the trading console and we click here on the second row to create the second strategy chart. Again, we hear the Ahuga alert telling us that we are creating a chart, something significant is going on. After we see the red line appear at the bottom of the last chart created, it's safe to bring us online. We go to the bottom of the TradeStation platform, place our mouse on the trading field, double left click, and that opens up the sign in where we'll sign back in. Again, we're going to use sound alerts. This time for both charts. We're going to go back to the trading field. They'll stop in a moment. And we see that the settings field now says locked. And as we've locked the settings, loaded the data, we're ready to start trading. And we notice that the start stop field is lit up saying start, meaning if you click on here, we'll start trading. Notice the strategy position for the first row for Citigroup and the second row are always going to be the opposite of each other. This is because we specified that we're going to invert the entries for the second row here. So the strategy position moves every 10 seconds from positive to negative in order to give us fast trading action. We are going to see when we start up the trades for these two Citigroup symbols that while one is purchasing call options, the other will be purchasing put options. So here we start the trading on the first, and we see we're 10 shares short. In this case, we're purchasing put options here, as you can see. Now 20 shares short, still purchasing put options, in this case 20 shares. We'll let this return to a positive number. Goes now 10 short, so it's exercising this every 10 seconds, it's changing the position. We're now long 10 put options. And now we go long and it's switched to call options. We're going to start up the second row here, and we now see that it's doing the opposite. Where the first row is showing us with call options. The second row is inverted. It's using put options. And we'll see this inversion or mirroring between the two rows each time there's a change. So right now we're purchasing call options on the first row, put options on the second row. When we start purchasing put options on the first row, it'll flip to call options on the second row, which is what we have right here. Okay, and that concludes the demonstration of XTremeAutoTrader being used to show how we can convert a regular strategy from trading the underlying symbol to doing options trading, and how we can also use it to do inverted options trading.